Today I'm going to be chatting about forgiveness does not equal trust. A few months ago, I did this post on my Facebook page and I had so many people share this. And I just found that to be so interesting that a lot of people, a lot of us knew that, but we weren't able to articulate that. Or we knew deep down, but nobody really told us that, so we weren't able to connect that dot. That forgiveness does not equal trust. So I came across this and I thought I would share this with you. It's from one of my contacts on my professional network on LinkedIn. And the saying went like this: you can forgive people, but you don't have to keep them in your life. Just because you have a gentle heart does not mean you allow them to disrespect you and hurt you again. And I just thought that was said in such a beautiful way, right? That you can forgive somebody, but we don't have to keep them in your lives. And I meet a lot of broken women and I deal with a lot of broken young women. And one of the things I let them know is, so you got one shot at this life. And just imagine your life is like a theater and the curtains open and you are on stage, right? And you've got an audience in front of you. And guess what? You get to choose who gets the front seat in your life. I'm sure most of y'all have I've come across that saying similar to, be careful who rents space in your mind or in your thoughts, right? So I'm very careful to allow people that support me, people that share my same values, they get to sit at the front seat. They get some of my time. My time is very precious to me, and how I spend my time and with who I spend my time tells you a lot about me, right? So the ones that are right in the front are the ones that I want. They are my cheering squads. They support me. When I'm sick, they are making food for me. They ensuring that I'm well enough to take care of my family, and they are people that I can lean into. And when they need that extra comfort and strength, they can lean into me, right? So it's a give and take. I always believe that God has given us two hands, one to give and one to receive, right? You cannot be the person that's always giving and giving and giving and giving, because what's going to happen sooner or later, that jug of water is going to run dry. And there are times when you're going to be in a bad space and you would need to lean onto somebody. So it's very unhealthy to think that you are like this really strong person and you're going to go through life and you don't need anybody's help. In fact, the ones that really make it and the ones that crosses the line strong are surrounded by good healthy relationships with friends and family, right? So trust will have to be earned. The person that has betrayed their trust will have to work really hard at earning their trust again. And sometimes it may take them the entire lifetime to earn their trust again. But the amount of work that they will put into winning their trust will let you know whether your relationship with them was valued or not. If the relationship meant nothing to them, they are not going to work at winning that trust from you again. And and that's a good thing, because they are letting you know how much value they have placed into that relationship, right? When I came across this one video that spoke about forgiveness does not equal trust, I was like, that was like amazing for me, because finally somebody connected the dots. Yes, we forgive the person, but you don't necessarily have to have that person in your life again. Relationships are created equal. And by this, I mean, if you are in a relationship with an abusive partner, be it physical, mental, emotional abuse, that relationship is going to be very, very different to a woman that's with a partner that respects the boundaries, right? So suppose both couples are going for counseling, and the pastor says to both, or the counselor says to both, we need to forgive our partners, right? So for one, forgiveness might mean, I understand that maybe you got a drug addiction, or maybe you've got a really low self-esteem, or maybe you actually don't know who you are, and you chose to beat me up or swear me or emotionally abuse me. I forgive you, and I'm going to move on from this for me. And the other one might be where, where couples in a healthier relationship might be just having a moment where, or a period where they just are communicating as well, or they're growing in different directions. And forgiveness for them might mean, um, I'm going to forgive you for not having the patience to communicate with me, right? So we've got one that's in an abusive relationship, and one couple that's not in a relationship where they're growing together, but rather growing apart. Two very different. And if the counselor had to say, we need to forgive, so the one that's in an abusive relationship is forgiving, but she's forgiving and she's moving away from that environment, that really toxic environment. And the other is forgiving and choosing to stay and grow together. So forgiveness for both have two different meanings, right? Forgiveness, um, and some of the sayings go like, "I'll forgive you, but I won't forget what you did," right? So that also kind of like means, I'm gonna forgive you. The Bible talks about not keeping kind of like a card or a record of everybody's wrongdoings, right? So is that I forgive you and I won't forget you, in line with what God is saying? And how does it help somebody? So I've given this a lot of thought, and I said to myself that, um, for me, forgiveness is you letting that person go, you letting them go off the hook, but they would have to work on that trust factor for me to allow them back into my life. So no, I'm not going to keep a record of you doing the wrong, but I'm human and I can't forget it as well. But you need to show me that you have matured and developed for me to give you that space again in my life, for me to allow you in that relationship again. There is a lot of families and friends I had to say, or I had to let go over the years, because those relationships were just too toxic for me to continue with. Some of those relationships was very, very one-sided, where you put in all the effort and you get like zero amount back. And by default, I was one of those people that just thought if we blood, then that meant family is supposed to be there for one another. Isn't that the default setting for all? And then I realized that uh, sometimes family is actually not blood. Family can be close friends that actually share your same values and have the same vision and are going in the same direction like you. So I had to rethink who my support system was, because just because we were family and we were blood and we were relatives wasn't working for me. It left me in a poorer place, because I just felt that I was giving so much more and getting like absolutely zero back in terms of support. So I had to think about what's going to work for me, what's going to leave me in a better place, in an emotionally better place, in my mind mentally in a better place. And at one point I actually had to go and get that paid support. For me, I had to go and see a life coach, and it was a paid support for me to get to put those pieces back together. And because I was in a place that was really, really lonely, and I actually didn't have the emotional support that I needed to move on from the trauma that I experienced. Forgiveness does not equal I'm going to trust you again. When life gives you lemon.